Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Carlos D. I'm an artist from Los Angeles, California. In this video, you're going to see me at the drawing table creating some art. The video is not intended to be instructional, but informative and entertaining. If you learn something from the video, then that's cool. Joining me today and sharing the screen with me is my friend George. He is an artist from Los Angeles as well. And you're going to get the opportunity to see both of us working on individual pieces. And George, thanks for taking the time to hang out today, brother.
Hey, no problem, bro. I got you.
So your artwork here, I know how it's gonna look at the end, obviously, dude. What movie is this from, this character?
It's called The Terrifier, you know, the new movie that just came out. And I just watched the second part, so I got inspiration to, you know, just to do the horror themed characters. I enjoy drawing a lot of like horror occult based stuff, you know, something that has blood.
Awesome,
you know the whole category of horror, you know, that's what I kind of try to base my art on, you know.
I love horror, man, and that makes a great appeal for art, dude. Very
Yeah,
cool.
dude, there's so much you can do, you know. Obviously I can go off the rails and do other stuff, but
Sure.
that's what interests me. And I, as an artist, you know, you have to kind of just do what you like doing, you know, not what somebody expects of you, but this comes naturally to me. And
Awesome, dude.
to me it's something that I've always found fascinating. So here it is with my art, you know.
Right on, dude.
Um,
Now, you're working on any specific kind of paper?
yeah, this is a drawing marker paper.
Marker paper.
There's different forms. You can definitely feel the difference when you're drawing with different materials, you know.
Absolutely,
The marker paper tends to have like a smoother surface.
Yes, okay.
When you get the combination of other stuff that's meant for you to use different types of utensils, I mean
Yeah, tools.
yeah,
The
tools,
marker,
yeah, you know.
paints,
Yeah, exactly. Like you can definitely tell the difference, you know.
Absolutely, man.
You know, I'm sure. I don't even know what paper you're using.
Well, yeah. See, what I'm doing here, I'm on the left-hand side, just for the audience. George is on the right-hand side. I'm inking right now using India ink on illustration board,
Right.
and this is, I mean, it's a thick, basically like compressed paper, but
Right.
it handles paints a lot better because,
Right.
because of the thickness, right? If you have a flimsy sheet of paper or something, then the water-based acrylics or whatever, it'll kind of like warp it. I didn't prepare this at all. Like I've seen and read that it's a good idea to like prepare with gesso.
Oh, really?
And I'm just like, let me just go straight at it.
Yeah.
So-
Because there's a paper I used to use called multimedia.
Okay.
Um,
Thicker than
it's
what you're
it's
putting
way
on now?
thicker,
Okay.
and honestly, dude, if you use the wrong stuff, especially on markers,
Mhm.
it can mess up your markers. So that's
Really?
why, yeah, like I used to use it on like the mixed media,
Okay.
and my markers would be all messed up, bro, after that. So I was like, you know what am I doing wrong? So obviously I did a little more research, and I was like, you know
Cool.
what, I have to use a proper paper. If I'm gonna watercolor, I have to use the watercolor paper.
Yes.
You know, and if I'm gonna just sketch, there's even paper for that, you know.
Right.
I could tell that paper is thick, the one that you're using.
It's basically a board, dude.
Yeah,
It's basically
it's
a
sick,
board.
dude. What is that, like a? What are you drawing? Like a monster?
So this is just another creature from my imagination, man. Like you said, man, I love the way that you touched on the subject of just drawing what you enjoy.
Right.
And that's where I'm at, dude. I've always had a fascination, same for horror, not necessarily for me like grotesque horror, but more like fantasy horror and like the monsters, right? I grew up on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, like the OG one, man.
Yeah.
So seeing all these like wild creatures was always really just fun for me. And most recently, I've been wanting to examine myself a little deeper of my subconscious mind and like what's in there, and just like thinking about characters in my head and playing kid all over again, dude. But rather than acting them out like, oh, we're Ninja Turtles today, right?
Right.
That I'm expressing these ideas and expressing that energy through trying to create from my imagination monsters and creatures, and I'm gonna continue that, dude. I really enjoy that, man.
Yeah, that's sick, bro. Coming up with your own ideas and your own artwork it's pretty cool because a lot of people, what we do is, and I included, I'm mimicking something that's already existing. Like, this is a real character, and all I'm doing is pretty much copying, what I see.
Gotcha.
I'm more of a visual person. I wish I created my own stuff, but sometimes I do come up with my own shit, and it comes out pretty cool. But to be like that original, where everything you draw is like just from your mind, dude, that's pretty cool,
That's
man.
special, man.
That is special, dude, and that's what will make you stand out from everybody else. This stuff is not easy.
And man, I love that you said that, dude, because I have such a great respect for comic books and comic book artists, man. I don't think they get enough credit, man, because it's like the normal thing now.
Right.
When in the past, like in the Renaissance era or 1700s, you couldn't really do monsters without people like thinking you were possessed. Like, yo, we gotta go burn this fool at the stake, man.
Right.
And now that it's a common thing, right? Creature creators, comic book inventors, whether you're storytelling them or just drawing them or whatever, it feels so normal that like people don't really appreciate how difficult it is. Well, maybe it's not difficult for the artist, but
Right.
but how special that is, I think, is a better word that I want to use. How special that is to create something from your imagination and make it look alive, and give it life in your head.
I think people have really lost touch in what it takes to create anything now. From woodworking to art to designing anything, dude. Like, they don't realize how many hours it takes, how many fails it takes for you to actually start creating something that looks good.
I
and
agree, dude.
and
I agree.
I've drawn all my life, dude. I've finally got to that point where I'm comfortable enough to show the world that I actually do create and create these drawings, and that can come out of me.
Sure.
And that takes a long too, because a lot of people, they draw and they're like, oh, no, it looks dumb. I'm like, it looks
Never
dumb.
worked
Nah,
on
don't
it.
even look at it. And I've been a victim of that. I criticize my own drawing. Sometimes I ask people, like, does it look dumb? But it's just a part of it. It's a part of being an artist. Like, your biggest critic is always gonna be yourself.
I agree.
And hey, man, if other people can see it too, then sometimes they're right, and you just gotta get your shit together and keep practicing. It's not a big deal. That's how I always seen it.
Cool.
Like, I don't really care about what other people think. But I do take the constructive criticism.
Awesome.
If
That's
it looks
always
shitty, I'll do better. But if it looks cool, then I'm gonna keep doing that.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. So
Now on your, I see that you've kind of have some kind of structure underneath here. You have, it looks like a brow line. It looks like you have an eye line. Do you use a specific method, or what made you decide to do that?
for me, what I'm learning right now is because it's easy to just start, like, just going head on a drawing and start drawing everything all at once. But for me, I'll draw the shapes first. That really sets like a foundation to the placement, or where I want everything. Like, if the hat's too fucking, if it's too close to the edge, I'll lower it down. If it's the head's too big, I'll make it smaller. It gives me like a something to work with. Like my sketch. I'm sketching it out. Like, right there, I drew the nose, but I'm not gonna want that nose, and you're gonna see me erase the whole face later on. Because I do that, and that's the part that I like the most, is
Cool.
the building blocks, the anticipation. I want to see what it's gonna look like at the end, but I'm confident now, where I'll draw something, and I know 100, almost 95% that that's not gonna be
Right.
the last line I'm gonna lay down. That's not
Mhm.
gonna be the last shape I'm gonna draw. It's just a very I'm just trying to structure myself,
Cool.
and it took me a long time to learn that. Shapes are very important. Pretty much every artist knows that a shape is what pretty much the foundation of all artwork.
Absolutely. Artists pay attention to shapes, not oh that's an eyeball. Well, it's a sphere. It's a
Yeah, no,
circle.
it
It's an
started off
oval.
as a shape,
Mm-hmm.
and then you added depth to it, you added
Right.
color to it, and that's what makes it pretty cool. The process is pretty cool. I enjoy sketches. I
Awesome,
enjoy
dude.
it almost more than the completed product, because that's what I'm learning.
Sure.
When I'm drawing, I'm learning. And
That's good, dude. That's a good way to
yeah,
put it, man.
it's a cool process, man. I enjoy what I do, as a hobby.
Awesome, dude.
And
And you know what? With these videos, that's what I wanted to express is uh, the process, not just as entertainment, but whoever's out there that is actually paying attention and picking up ideas or techniques. Hey, have at it. That's the mark of an artist. Like you never stop learning, right?
right.
And I wanted to show that the in between, right? Okay, maybe you have an idea, but there's so much that goes in between. Like you said, you're gonna erase a feature and then you're gonna redraw it, and maybe
Right.
you don't like that one, erase it again and redraw it, or erase that again and redraw it. It to the persons that aren't artists, they see something, but they don't understand what's all underneath there. All those erasers, all those redraws, all those uh, marks again.
Right.
Um,
It almost makes you excited to buy a higher quality eraser sometimes, because the lines that you lay down, they're gonna go away. At the end of the day, I mean, if you're an artist and you like a really professional artist, that line you lay down might be your last line.
Yeah.
Because you're so good at it.
Sure.
But for us, for me, in particular, I'm gonna erase it,
Mhm.
and it's not the end, my end product.
Mhm.
It's crazy that you mentioned that you used Indian ink, right?
Yeah.
I've tried to use that before, bro, but it's kind of tricky.
It's uh this is what I would recommend just as a tip, right? I mean, you have to mix it
Yeah.
because it's I guess it's an organic material, and and they do spoil. So I remember I had an India ink bottle, and I had it for like a year, dude, just stored.
Mhm.
And when I decided to jump on that and like, okay, let me try to mess around with this a little bit, it was a horrible experience, dude. Even though I like stirred it up a little bit and I could kind of like feel the chunks underneath the bottle,
Mhm.
it was I tried to use like a dip pen, and I'm like, man, this sucks, dude, or do I suck? Like, what's going on? And then just watching other artists do their thing, they mentioned that it spoils or it
Right.
goes bad, so you have to use it within a certain time. And I'm like, dude, let me check the date on there, and it was like a year and a half old, so it was like bad. Because now that I've got myself a new bottle, and it flows very nicely. But so
Right.
what I do is, I did go over it with acrylic paint. You know what I
Oh.
found that works, I mean, amazingly well, in my opinion, is airbrush paint. And I just dab that in a little paper cup that I cut out, because acrylic paint, unless it's like really fluid, it's chunky. That too you should mix. Mix it with some water and just stir it around so that it's kind of liquidy. But the airbrush paint is kind of already liquidy, right? It's intended to be sprayed out through the gun. So I'm like, out of curiosity, man, I'm just trying everything and anything that I have, dude.
Yeah,
And
dude.
so I'm like, okay, let me see if I could, with my paints, just brushes, check out this airbrush paint. And man, I really like it. That and the white.
Right.
So if 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 I need to work out a line, right? Okay, that I went a little too far with that black line, then I just come back at it with some white paint, that same airbrush paint. I forgot the brand of it, but
Yeah, I
it's a little
think
experiment.
that's when I erased the whole face and
Oh, I
stuff.
see. Yeah,
Yeah,
the nose as well. Okay.
it's just already gone.
That's cool, dude. That's awesome, man. Because people are gonna get an opportunity to see that and like, hey, just do it over. You did it once.
Yeah, well, you know
That's cool.
what?
That's cool that you
That's
did that.
something that like that, and you can't take away from a real artist. You know that you can throw away his paints. He's gonna paint it all over again.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I've lost
Absolutely.
paintings. And then have I drew them again? Yeah. You know, I've done it a few times already where like I'll give a painting away and I'll just fucking redraw it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It exists within me. You know, this is just me putting it on paper.
That's a great way to say it, dude. It exists within you. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's cool, man. It's a cool experience. Like I said, like to be able to create this again over and over again. You erase it, it's gonna come back. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I'm sure it's you're not doing an exact copy. So
no,
from
no.
that, you kind of have an awareness, like maybe now you get the opportunity to do the nose exactly how you want it to.
Yeah,
rather than,
exactly.
oh man, I left it that
Yeah.
way just because I wanted to keep moving on, but now I'm gonna get it in this way.
It's like you know how when you go to IKEA and stuff, and then like you buy something, and you build it once,
Uh-huh.
and then you're like,
It's trash.
you no. Well, you build it, and it took
Okay.
you a long time,
Okay.
and then you're tasked with building it again because maybe you got like a second
Oh,
one.
gotcha.
So the second one, you're all fucking fast at it. You know, oh yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna add these nails to this part,
Yes.
and this part goes this way.
Yes.
It's the same way. You
Yes.
did it once. That's when you were figuring it out,
Uh-huh.
and then if you have to do it again, you already know exactly what you're gonna do. So you do it even faster,
Yes.
and you add all the little just shit that you missed the first time, you know,
Mhm.
and that's what it's all about, man. Yeah, and then the next time you draw something, you might even take something from your last drawing
Yeah.
and add that. For me, it was like today. It doesn't show it in the video, but the end product of this, I actually got these watercolor brushes,
Okay.
and I dipped them in red paint, and I just blew the red ink all over the drawing because
Wow.
the original drawing of this
Mm-hmm.
it shows him all bloody. It's not really a drawing. It's actually like whatever their movie poster or whatever.
Oh,
He's
from what you're taking the
from the Terrifier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the movie's gory, bro. Like
okay.
he gets blood splat all over him, you know.
All right.
So drawing him without blood is kind of dumb because this whole movie he's all like drenched in blood,
Gotcha,
dude.
gotcha,
So yeah, and that's something I've never done in my drawings, and that's something I'm probably gonna start doing in my future drawings if I ever want to add blood or splat of
Oh,
green or
that effect.
that effect.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, which
Right
is
on.
pretty cool, man. And that's something I learned. Not that I learned, but like I've done it before back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Now I brought it back, and now I'm like, forgot about that technique. You know,
Right on.
I forgot about that, and it makes your drawings that much better. You know.
I like the look of splatter. Right. It looks like you just drop the paint on there in a way
Yeah.
accidentally.
Yeah.
With those blobs or that appearance of blobs of paint. Is
Yeah,
really cool.
I think that's pretty
cool.
cool. A lot of people do that. They'll get a paintbrush full of paint and they'll just splatter it all over their,
Gotcha.
and it looks sick, dude. And sometimes they even tape up their piece
Mhm.
so it can be the splatter all over the background,
Okay.
which is pretty cool, man. Another thing I was gonna bring up,
Yeah.
for anybody that is new to this, don't be afraid to use different techniques. If you're doing a marker drawing, don't be afraid to add pencil to it, to add color pencil to it, to add acrylic to it. Anything that makes your drawing that much better, it really is at the end of like, just because you don't know how to do it with marker, you can do it with something else. Maybe you can start with marker and then finish it with acrylic. You know what I mean? And that's what I see you doing here. You used Indian ink, right? And then now you switched to acrylic.
Exactly.
And that's something that I didn't even like really start practicing till recently, dude. Um, Even like the shading under something, you can add a pencil to it, make it a little darker. Um, it's just tips, you know.
And on that note, dude, I think that as I'm sketching, I think personally I'm going to really like refine and maybe take almost to a finish all in pencil, all in graphite, because I've noticed that with the recent artworks that I've done, that I'm kind of like fidgeting a little bit too much with, do I want to put black here? Do I want to not put black here?
Right.
And I think I'm going to experiment more before I start inking. I'm going to maybe try to figure out a little bit more of the black areas and the dark areas, and even the shading with pencil before I start inking. So even myself, dude, yeah, I'm figuring out new ways to approach the art making process, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's sick though.
And
Like,
we're never gonna stop learning, bro. I mean, we're gonna discover something like, oh man, I'm gonna start doing that now.
but you know what? And I'll be honest about, you know, drawing and all this creating artwork. You can't stop. You have to keep going, and it's just like working out. If you don't work out for a while, you know your muscles, you know, they shrink.
I agree, dude.
You know, you might have that muscle memory, but if you're an artist, keep being an artist. Make time for it. Go home after your 8, 10, 12 hour shift, and think about the next thing you're going to do, because you also have to, like, you also have to water your plants, you know. You have to, this is a
Sure.
process that's going to grow, and it's growing, and it gets better and better and better. And the more you enjoy it, the more that people are going to appreciate you for doing it. And I've seen that, you know. At first when I started, I remember being at Michael's and just seeing these cool brushes, and I was like, man, like, man, I can draw some cool stuff with that.
Mhm.
I bought that. I bought like a sketch pack, took it back to my apartment, and just started going at it again, you
Cool,
know.
man.
And from that, I just didn't stop, and I
Yeah,
haven't stopped, and I've created really cool pieces. I've even sold some, you know.
Awesome, dude.
I'm still an amateur, you know, and I still love it. I still love the hobby. This is a hobby for me,
Awesome, man.
and it also potentially a lifestyle, you know.
Cool.
From now on, I'm not. It's not gonna end for me, you know. I'm gonna
Awesome.
keep going, and just like you, bro. I feel like you're very committed to this talent that you have, and you've discovered a talent within yourself that you can grow, and it's growing,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
growing fast, you know. um and you know, take it with you, bro, you know, go all the way. um
I think the most important thing is it should be enjoyable.
yeah,
It should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be, like I've told you before, right? Like my philosophy is, if anything starts to feel like work, then I'm gonna have to reevaluate what I'm doing.
hey man,
And
and we've both felt that before.
yeah, man, and it's if you can make the time, it's extremely beneficial,
Right.
in my opinion, because it's relaxing. I mean, the whole time, I'm sure when you're drawing, man, your focus is there, right? You're not considering the drama that's in the exterior world, man. It's like you're just lost in there.
Yeah,
It's a
you're
peaceful time
lost
for
in
you.
it. You're lost in the drawing. That's the part that I like the most, is throwing on those headphones
Awesome, dude.
and putting on a podcast that I want to listen
Cool.
to,
And
or
you know,
some music, you know.
on that note of just getting lost in something, even if you're too intimidated, or maybe you don't have the, that desire in you to draw on something out of your imagination, there's those adult coloring books. You
Yeah.
can find them at Michael's or whatever, right, in little hobby stores. I think those are a cool thing as an adult. Like, just sit down and forget about the exterior world. Just pick one color,
Right.
and do every other object, of the color. Just get lost in your calm thoughts and your chill experience of coloring. But I highly recommend it. If you're an artist, I mean, keep creating. Absolutely, keep creating.
You know, for me, it's not until I had an apartment that I got like a little drawing desk
Okay,
that I had like a little setup
cool.
that I enjoyed my alone time, my crafting time, that I really started seeing it more as like a meditation, you
Beautiful,
know,
man. Beautiful. Dude.
and that's something that from my whole life that led up to that, you know,
Awesome. Awesome.
and because back in the day, it would give me anxiety within myself. I would
To try to draw.
to draw, yeah, because
Okay, okay.
I wanted it to be done. I wanted it to look good,
Gotcha.
and probably I was drawing it for somebody.
Gotcha.
So that pressure
Mm-hmm.
made the process not as enjoyable as I wanted it to be.
Cool. Yeah.
Because I would feel that, bro. I'd be like,
Mhm.
damn, you know, when I was like in high school, I'd draw something for a girl,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, it better look good because I'm gonna give it to her. You know, she's gonna be like, telling her freaking friends like, look at this dumbass what he drew for me. You know, so I wanted it to look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it's time to be creative. Now it's me.
Sure.
My drawings are me.
Awesome.
And if you purchase one of my drawings, or I give you one, just know that came from me, and you took a little bit of my life
Beautiful,
with you,
man.
because you know, like, I spent a few hours on it, and that is my talent right there. That's what I have to give to you, and I'm glad you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you show it off. If you don't, that's okay. But if you mean something to me, I would love for you to enjoy a little piece of me, you know, and maybe the world someday, you know. But I'm sure you feel the same way, bro. Like when you give away your drawings, or you're gonna display your drawing in an art gallery,
Mhm.
you know, they're going to see you.
I'm gonna have to agree with that, man.
You know?
That's, I think that's the hope of any artist that wants to make a name for themselves and be shown, like have a show,
Right.
is that the people that go and see these artworks live, that they find an interest in who this person is.
Yeah.
Like, who is it? Like, why are these artworks being done in this way, in this fashion? I kind of feel like some artists or persons that represent artists can be a bit pretentious on trying to make an artwork seem a little bit more than, like, you know what, they were probably just hanging out and enjoying what they were doing with nothing in their mind. But because you have to have something to write, all right, like somebody that's gonna write something about you in an article, okay, make it sound sexy to me why you did this.
Yeah.
And I kind of, again, for me, that's why I really have a high respect for comic book artists, because they're just caught up in a childish imagination, and that's fun. I would say that the majority of humanity probably experienced a good deal of fun when they were younger, pretending to be superheroes, pretending to be cartoon characters, and if they had a good group of either family members or friends on the block or in the apartment complex, everyone got together and played a role, you know. And now I really understand more the saying, like, man, I don't ever want to grow up. Like, I just want to play, man.
Man, growing up sucks.
This is fun, man. This is fun to me. Like man, I enjoy it so much, and I think that passion and that enjoyment is what makes a great artist. That you feel that this was fun. Like, I've never done really creatures from my imagination before,
Right.
but I feel so confident in what I'm doing that, like you said, I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just having fun with this. I don't get me wrong. I do. Whenever I look at a comic book, I'm studying, dude. I'm like, how how dynamic is this pose, and like I could have easily made this dude just standing like flat on both feet, right? But I'm like, nah, man, that's not comic book worthy, man. I need
Right.
to make the unless he's gonna be standing there in like some heroic pose, but I want to make it seem like he's starting to creep around, and how would this dude move? Like, well, he would just probably be kind of lumpy and like lift up one leg at a time and be like super goofy. So I really like where this is taking me, because like you've seen my other paintings, right? They're realism. It's just me staring at an object or staring at a photo, and trying to get those same colors, mix them in oil, and put them in the right order
Yeah.
on the canvas. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy that too. I get in the zone and I'm lost in it. But this, to me, it feels more like playing. When
Right.
I'm not doing something from reference, it feels more like playing around, and this was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I intend to do a lot more of it.
You hear that a lot, like when tattoo artists sometimes like they complete their artwork,
Mhm.
they'll be like, "This is a fun piece, you know. Throw more of these at me, you know. I'd like to do more of these," because that's something I learned from one of my friends, one of my good friends, Rudy. Shout out.
Cool.
Um, he the stuff that he likes doing is very different from the stuff that he tattoos on people, and a lot of
Really?
times he tattoos stuff that they want.
Okay.
And I've experienced that too. Like somebody will say, will find me, one of my friends or whoever,
Uh-huh.
and say, "Hey, can you draw this, and that for me?" And it's kind of like out of my way because it's not the stuff that I like drawing. So I might not be too good at it.
Sure.
He feels the same way.
Okay.
As a tattoo artist, I feel like you would want to really tat what you wanted on somebody, like something that's completely your design. Because when we draw it on paper, that's all me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not your skin, you know.
Right,
Obviously, I
right.
know that a tattoo means way more to somebody, but to be under that pressure that it must look good and
Yeah,
it must really align with what you really want, and that's going to be on your skin, and you know, and that stuff makes it non enjoyable sometimes, and we both. I've gotten caught up in that where I have to design something for somebody that I really didn't want to, but because you know I could do it, doesn't mean that it's always something I wanted to do.
I understand. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and we both enjoy creating it. We both enjoy really being somewhere and be like, I'm gonna draw this today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you actually do it, you're doing it. You're just like, fuck, this shit feels good because
Right.
this is what I wanted to draw all day. You know, it's
Yeah.
like one of those like you got to get it out there. You know, you got to
Yes,
squeeze
yes,
one
yes.
out of your brain. You know,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But sometimes it's just like you said earlier, it becomes work.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes work. When it becomes work, it's not as fun as we wanted it to be.
Absolutely.
And I always want my artwork to be fun to me,
Good.
because if I have to go home and draw something forcefully, draw something for somebody else, it becomes a little like, you know, you have that little pressure on you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. You want to satisfy the person that's asking
Yeah,
you for
yeah.
your work.
But-
Absolutely, dude.
But when we stick to that, just, you know, today I'm gonna create. I'm gonna
Mhm.
create. I'm gonna draw whatever I want. I'm gonna get lost in this drawing. That's a beautiful feeling, man.
Absolutely, man.
You know, and I feel like this was one of those
Good.
today where it was very enjoyable. I took my time. I had all day today,
Cool.
and you know, it came out good. I took my time. I sketched it out the way I wanted it to. I got it to the point where like this is exactly what I want to lay on this paper,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, here it is.
Do you? I see you've measured out what appears to be a specific measurement. Is it?
It is, yeah, because
It's a 5x7.
it's 5x8,
Okay.
I believe. It might be a 5x7. I'm not too sure, but what I did was I just go to Michael's or sorry, or Walmart or even the Dollar Tree, dude, and I
Okay.
get like a bunch of frames,
Okay.
and I fit these exactly on the frames that I
Perfectly,
bought.
yeah.
So
It might be a 5x7 because that's a standard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like mine is a 5x7, and again, I'm the same because I wanted that facility of being able to just snap it onto
to
a
a
frame.
to a frame, which is
That's smart.
really
That's smart.
really cool, man.
Yeah.
When I put my art in a frame, I'm like, cool, it's completed, and somebody might even put it in the room. I've had a lot of I've
Sure.
known like at least 10 people that have my artwork somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Probably their bathroom, their room, their living room. Somewhere in the world, my art exists, and
Yeah, man.
which is cool, man. It's a cool
You know
feeling.
what? And on that note, dude, I want to say thank you, man. You gave me a sweet rose, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Man, I had to put that up, man, because it's very cool. And like I've told you before, dude, I dig your style, man. I think
Thanks, man.
it's you're not mimicking it. I would say I would be able to distinguish, like, oh, that looks like George drew that, not
Yeah.
someone else.
Right.
So that's very cool, man. I respect that, dude.
Yeah, dude, and that thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm really like, I think for me, knowing the person and having a little piece of their artwork is cool, because even like the tattoo artists that I like that create stuff like this, um, if I have a little piece of their artwork, man, that's fucking dope to me. You know,
Sure.
it's better than going to freaking Ross or something and buying one of those
Right.
generic ass like giraffes, you know,
Sure.
that have been painted by
Sure.
that like 3,000 times
Yeah,
and sold at 3,000 stores. You know,
machined.
yeah, they're machined. You know,
Yeah.
well, you're if I ever give you a piece of my art, just know that I personally laid down all that paint and marker, and that's been
Well said, man.
You know?
Well said. I think that if when someone is curious about like what makes like handmade art different from like a print or something like that, maybe it's just the way we think. Maybe it's just our romantic ideas of man, that's just handmade, like somebody did that, you know.
Yeah.
And at least for me, it's just a fantastic feeling, like I I know where that came from. And in certain pieces, right, it's like only one of them exists in the world, and this artwork could potentially outlast generations of family, right? Like all like masters, right? Like all the artwork that goes for high money,
Right.
Picasso, Dali, uh, you know, so on and so forth, ages ago, even the Renaissance era, right? Like these things that just, this art lasts beyond death of a human, man. And
Shit,
that's
so-
an amazing thing. Like if you think about that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna purchase something, like you have the opportunity to just hand it down through generation through generation through generation. And if it's, hopefully it's someone that's potentially a life-changing personality for you, right? And that's another intention, what I wanted to do with these videos. I want to share experiences. Like I love that you touched up on being kind of a nervous beginner for the artwork, and especially going through that teenage angst period of, oh man, you know,
Yeah.
I hope she digs it, man, because, you know, I'm trying to get something cool for Valentine's.
And you know what? In a way, like that's a way to shield myself now from drawing something that's not gonna make me look as appeasing as me doing my own thing. If I draw you something and I'm not comfortable with, I'm gonna be doubting myself.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say you want a portrait, dude. Good luck with that, cause I'm not in that level yet.
Mhm.
I'm not in that, I might not be for years.
And does that interest you at all? I
It
guess
does
another-
interest me. I
Okay,
wish
cool,
I could
cool,
do
cool.
stuff like that, and I wish it came out very good. But man, I don't know if you've ever felt this when you try out a new piece or even like completing a piece, like you feel mentally focused. You feel like you grew another muscle in your brain. I felt like that when I've done portraits.
I would agree, dude.
You know, you're
Yeah.
working out a new muscle, a new part of your brain. Something that I probably haven't exercised in a while, which is a cool feeling, man.
But then again, you know what? That's one way to look at it. another way to look at it is to see artists from the past, especially big name artists that have done portraiture that's no matter what, I mean, unless you take your time and like really go through line by line, like what shape is that eye and what shape is that iris and what shape is that glare of light on that eye. I mean, you can go meticulously picking out everything to do an exact copy. However, the approach for an artist rendering a portrait, I think it's your interpretation, right? How you
Right.
see that person, not even with your eyes, but how your mind as an artist expresses the visual experience of this human's face, or it could be an animal, right? Dogs,
Right.
cats, and stuff like that. But
Right.
but I don't know if you're familiar with this artist Egon Schiele.
Mm-mm.
Well, you can see in a way they're almost caricature paintings. He's passed away. I think he was around in the maybe 1950s, 60s,
Okay.
and European. But even his anatomy, it wasn't exact, right? It wasn't like academic. So
Right.
so even that. But you touched on it earlier on, how you are your own worst critic, and you're gonna be extremely critical about well, if I want that person to look like that, it has to be a little bit more like that. When in depending on how you see the world, maybe an abstract expression of that person might be like really cool looking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you put the pressure on yourself, though, like you say, right? Until you develop that, like, you know what, I really don't care, and I'm gonna make your left eyeball a little bigger than your right, because I really don't care.
Yeah.
And then, like, but because your expression was like enjoyment, man, that's gonna reflect on
On
the
your-
finished product.
Yeah. Yep. I
So-
agree with that, bro.
So just for audience out there that are interested in doing artwork, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Whatever comes out comes out. Don't even sweat it.
Yeah.
Go from there. Maybe you don't want to do realism.
Don't
I personally enjoy everything from abstract to realism.
don't like criticize yourself too much. And you know
Yeah,
what?
take it easy. Take it easy on
Take it
yourself.
easy. And you know what? And if you have to criticize yourself, just know that you're practicing. You're sketching.
And man, and even on top of that, right? Just
Yeah.
know that a 50-year master is still learning.
Right. You're
Like,
you're
is
always
still learning, man. It's just a long learning adventure.
yeah, man. And take it don't take it too personal.
Mhm.
Just know that it's your if anything your soul kind of like criticizing you, but in a good way. And it's like you're creating something that's pretty cool, and you know the wrongs and the errors that you've done, but it's okay. Be easy on yourself. And I've done that. I've gotten over that.
Cool,
Now I
cool.
draw and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll draw whatever I want, and if I fuck up, then I'll just draw on something else.
And you know what? That freedom that you have now, that
Yeah.
you've just let go of being critical for yourself, your artwork feels that way. Your artwork, when I look at it and I'm interpreting it, it seems like this dude enjoyed this process.
Yep.
Like, yeah, the lines that you're making, the shapes and all that stuff. For me, I'm like this is a person that enjoys this.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, you had fun with
I
it.
think for me, I think it shows, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
On this right here, you're using a black marker.
No, I'm using a blender, so I'm trying to
Oh, okay.
pull the color, the black, into the lip. But you can
Ah.
also do that with like a gray tone.
Gotcha.
Um,
But that's what this marker is designed.
yeah, it's meant to, since it's like alcohol-based markers. They do very well blending. Like you can blend them into other colors.
Okay.
But man, Copic is amazing for that, bro. Like I
That's
really
the brand that you use.
Copic
Okay.
markers. They're really expensive, but Obviously, I knew this artist. I didn't know him, but I follow him on social media. Um, he used to only use Copic, and I think he switched to like another brand, a lot cheaper brand. But this guy knows what he's doing, you know.
Okay.
For me, Copic really is a very professional grade marker, and it allows you to make mistakes because other markers might not be so forgiving. Some markers, dude, will like if you don't use that specific brand, it will bleed into your drawing and it'll mess it up, dude.
Like if you mix brands.
If you mix brands,
Oh,
sometimes
okay.
like Prismacolor
Mhm.
and Copic, they're made from two different ingredients. I don't know what the fuck they use, but
They don't play well.
they
with
don't
each
play
other.
well with each
Oh,
other, and
okay.
I've learned that the hard way. I've fucked up some of my drawings. But Copic markers with other Copic markers, it's night and day, bro.
Okay.
Big difference. Right here, I'm a little nervous because the black
Uh huh.
was Prismacolor. This is a Prismacolor marker I'm using right
Oh,
now
to outline.
for the outline.
Okay.
Yeah, but the colors I'm gonna set down later
Mhm.
are all Copic markers.
Okay.
So that can bleed into my drawing if I really fuck up, especially because I'm gonna use a lighter tone. Um,
Is there some red in the gums?
yeah, it's a
Okay.
little bit of red.
I see.
Um, it, his gums are mainly black, but I wanted to show that there was still a person behind all this.
Big, nice touch.
You know what I mean?
Nice touch. Yeah.
It's not just like a mask.
Sure.
It's like the teeth are really somebody. All the other stuff is
Cool, man.
paint.
Okay.
Figuratively speaking.
Sure. Sure. We have paint on
Yeah,
that character.
on that character,
Yeah.
he has a painted mask.
Sure.
But yeah, I think at this point, it was just a matter of setting the paint, setting the color in now. Because I was done with all the outline except the hat.
I see.
Yeah, I think I left that.
Do you use any like if you wanted to like add a highlight or something? Do you use any special kind of white?
They sell these gel pens.
Yeah.
There's white gel pens that I love using.
Okay.
I forgot what they're called though, but they're pretty amazing. With it's almost like a whiteout,
Okay.
in a pen form.
Okay.
And man, that's a game
work
changer.
good?
Yeah, bro.
They cover the black well.
They cover the black well. You might have to go over it like 2 or 3 times, but you'll see later on when I color in the eyes. I'm gonna use that white pen.
Okay.
Um,
For me, when I've been inking
Right.
with the India ink, it's by Speedball, Super Black, I think it's called. I just use whiteout, the whiteout. Just
oh,
OG
okay.
whiteout.
Okay.
If I want to like a big area, because you don't have a ton of control over it. If I want something with control, then I'll use the airbrush white paint,
Oh, okay.
titanium white. But it the same. Like I would have to go over it a few times in order to get like good coverage.
Yeah. There's a
But
few.
That's all good.
There's a different. There's a few brands out there that are pretty good. I think they're called correction pens, if I'm not mistaken. Again, when you buy the pack, it comes with 3,
Okay.
and one of them's like this fat ass tip, and the other one's like really fine point.
Okay.
So it helps if you're really like doing like you want white in a very specific area of your
Uh-huh.
drawing, or like a really thick outline of white, which is pretty
Okay.
cool, to use if you're really want to get those little details.
You know what, dude? I might have to look into that because what I want to do more of is just straight up black and white, and maybe even play some more with like the Frank Miller Sin City style black and white, where
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's
You're pretty
real
good at
heavy on the outside.
you're pretty good at like shadows and stuff, bro. Which is like something that I'm still kind of trying to master.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how I would practice that unless I went out into the world and like really like paid attention to how shadows sit.
And you know what? And here's a tip. So I'll get a piece of tape, kind of like the blue tape that you're seeing right there,
Uh-huh.
and I'll I'll put it on a specific place on my board, like top right hand corner, top left hand corner, and I keep telling myself that's where the light's coming from. That's a light bulb.
Oh.
Like that's where the light's coming from. So I keep reminding myself, okay, the light is hitting this way, it's hitting this way.
Yeah, dude.
So
That's
it helps
skill
turn
right
the
there,
bulb.
man. I that's something I definitely need to practice on because
Because sometimes you get caught up. You
Yeah.
know, oh, that shape looks cool, and I think I'll fill it in. Like, oh, damn, that's not a shadow.
that's
I
yeah,
can't make it
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
that's pretty helpful for me.
Yeah, it's but again, it's all a learning process,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
okay to mess up, and it's okay to be, for me at least, it's okay for me to be unrealistic in my own drawings, you know,
Yeah.
because it's all it is. It's not real, and I'm not drawing something that's real.
Sure.
So
That's a good freedom too, man.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to make it look exactly like something.
and and it brings up another topic with portraits.
Okay.
The way people view themselves
Mm-hmm.
in the mirror, it might not come out the same way if you paint them.
100%.
Dude, that
bro.
that
100%.
people are so like, I don't look like that. What the hell? It's like, this is what I see. This is how I see you. And the
Exactly.
mirror, it plays a big illusion in your mind because you might not look like that in real life. And I think I look a certain way,
Yeah.
and I see myself
Yeah.
in the picture. I'm like, damn, I really look like that. Like,
Like whatever happened to that Superman I see every day in the mirror.
exactly. That's not the Superman I see when I'm combing my hair and shit. And that's the scary part, man. Drawing somebody and being good at drawing people is a very
You know what?
crazy skill to have.
I have a tip, man. That's fantastic that you brought that up. I have a tip. So in traditional, classical, realism painting schools, academies, ateliers, whatever you want to call them, they say, whenever you do a portrait of someone, make sure that they're not the first persons to see it. Make sure that if it's a spouse, make sure that the spouse sees it first.
Right.
So that their influence, right, the spouse's influence, hopefully says, oh, that looks great, and then that'll rub off on the person, thinking like it must look great because someone else thinks it's great. If not, then the person seeing it, like you said, will really like scrutinize it, like, my eyebrows don't look like that.
Yeah, dude.
When
It's
they
one of
kind
those
of fail
things.
again, you kind of fail to. Well, it's an interpretation, right? You're just trying to get a likeness of
Right.
someone, and hopefully the artist can make it a little sexier. But so that's just a saying in classical realism is don't let the person you're doing a portrait of be the first person to see it.
I think even they knew, bro, because it's
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
like a nail biter when you're about to show somebody, and it's kind of like when you're sitting outside and somebody's drawing you. What do they call the
Caricatures.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
like at theme parks and stuff. Like
yeah, yeah. When they're
Yeah,
drawing you,
little
you're
funny
like, how am I gonna look? And then when they draw, you're like, fuck, I do have a big eyebrows or big nose or big lips or whatever you
Sure.
have, going
Yeah.
on. They see that, and that might not be the way you see yourself. But they're good at it. They're good at it because they still will look like you.
Right, right.
But
Who's that? You showed me a video. Who do you recall that artist that you remember? You showed me the video of there was a couple sitting down.
oh yeah, it's like a TikTok little
Oh.
trend right now. It's like this lady in Hawaii, I think.
Oh.
She has like these two. She has like, she's known for drawing people really, like extreme.
Extreme
Like
distorted
if you have a
faces.
big chin, she's gonna draw like a big ass 3-foot chin and shit. If you have like a mole on your face, it's gonna be the whole fucking picture is gonna be a
Big-
mole
big old
and your
chocolate
little
chip.
face.
Wow.
It's pretty funny doing it. It's fucked up, but hey man, this is what how she sees you. And maybe that's a reflection of her real character. She probably does judge people by that.
Oh, of course, man. It's a human thing, right?
You know, she's
you
probably-
see something, you're like,
Damn, that person has a big ass nose and shit.
Sure.
Like she probably finds humor in that.
But I think that's really cool for the persons sitting down, knowing that they're gonna be like, in a way, teased, right, about their features. I think that's cool. Like for somebody to sit down and say, "Go ahead and tease me," this is just for fun.
I just hope that like when she's doing her thing, people are not sensitive.
Right.
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 Like just know it's a piece of artwork, and it's gonna be funny, and you shouldn't be. Again, you have to love yourself enough where like you could make fun of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and
Being a human is a funny thing, man.
it is, man. You don't take it too
It's
serious. You know,
pretty
like
funny, dude.
a lot of funny things in the world, a lot of sad things, and a lot of really beautiful things. You know, but it's all mindset, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
I agree
it's-
100%. It's
it,
mindset.
it ties to your work. You know, your artwork. If you don't take yourself too serious, you're gonna be okay. But if you're really like, no, it has to be perfect, you're not gonna enjoy it. You're not
I
gonna enjoy
agree,
the
dude.
process,
I agree.
man. And what are you doing here?
So,
Like Fool's Gone Wild?
this dude and the one I did prior, these are my imaginary homies, man. In my mind, I have an idea for a concept, perhaps a comic, maybe a stop motion film,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But the other dude his name is Meatball. He's a giant meatball, and this is Frankie. So these characters are existing in Frankie's imagination. He's about a maybe 10 to 12-year-old boy who's in a coma. He's in the hospital in a coma, and he is experiencing in his imagination these adventures with his favorite food. His favorite food growing up is he would always ask his mom, right, to make his favorite dish, which is meatballs.
Right.
So in his imagination, his best buddy is a meatball. So
That's sick, man.
and this ends up being a t-shirt design, and I use this version of Frankie here in this running pose, but a different version of Meatball that I did in a sketchbook, and I preferred that pose because it was more dynamic, and then I just finished them up in Procreate, and then for the final t-shirt design, and again, dude, this just fun for me. Like I literally, dude, I'm telling you, I gave this no thought, and this idea of a dude in a onesie running, like a 10 to 12-year-old kid in a onesie, Bugs Bunny. He grew up, he loves Bugs Bunny, so in his imagination, his subconscious mind is gonna throw this out that, okay, well, you're in a Bugs Bunny onesie, hanging out with your best buddy, who's your favorite food, which is meatball.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know why I decided to give him some shades and a hockey mask, dude. Maybe, I don't know, Friday the 13th was coming to my head or something like that. But I'm like, in his imagination, he's just cruising around, and he has got like a phaser gun, like the old 1950s
Right.
little toy gun and stuff. So just playing with my imagination and just going with it, knowing that anything goes, man. Right? Anything goes, man. I'm just having
It's
fun.
just, yeah, man. Just
And practicing my poses. I want to push myself to see if I can make a running pose, and I feel good about this.
yeah, man.
version.
It looks sick, dude.
It looks like he's moving. Like,
Yeah,
let's get outta
it's
here.
giving it life. That's something I definitely want to be able to do in the future. Like, draw a hand, but 200 different ways. You know.
Awesome, dude.
You know, just
That's a good goal to have, man. Hands are tricky.
yeah, dude, a hand or anything, a face,
Mhm.
facial expressions,
Yeah.
shadows, you know, anything, the shade of hair.
Mhm.
I want to practice all that. All that
Cool,
stuff
cool.
takes practice, and you've seen it on social media where like these people, they go all out on Procreate, bro. They're like super
Yeah.
like detailed with every
Mhm.
little last strand of hair is,
Mhm.
that stuff is amazing to me. And hey,
Yeah,
man, good for
absolutely.
them for getting that good,
Mhm.
because
Mad
What-
respect,
what-
dude. That's ours.
where
man. That's
where
hours
can
of
you
work,
find
man.
that? Where can you like show me a tutorial where it says, it shows you exactly how to become a professional artist, and even that,
Yeah, it's just doing
it's
the work,
just
man.
it's just
doing
the
work,
talent that you have to make that happen.
dude. It's something, I've always really enjoyed long distance running, and I used to be a part of a running team, and one of our running coaches he would say, if your time, like, it would be for like a 5K or a 3K,
Right.
improving your time. He would say it's just mileage, it's just you mileage. And I've applied that with everything. Like, if I want to get good at something, I got to put the mileage in. Mileage, like you say with hands, dude. 6 months ago to now, I think, humbly speaking, I think I could do some decent hands, man. On a scale of 1 to 10, I started off as a 1, and I'm just like, man, this thing is tricky, man. These shapes, like, man, how hard is it to do a damn hand? Now I started at a 1. Now I feel confident to say I consider myself to be at a 6 or a 7 in a scale of drawing hands, and I feel like man, what a huge improvement. But because I was just grinding it out, like, I didn't judge myself if the hand looked funky. I just continue with the drawing and sketching or whatever. And then the next one you do, a more improvement, and studying also, like studying the comic books, see how they do the expressions of their hands.
But what are you using right there?
Just Sharpies, dude.
Oh, a Sharpie.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
A thick, a fine, and a chisel tip Sharpie.
That's cool.
All
man.
Sharpie.
Yeah.
And with these, I don't intend them to. My intention wasn't to have them like a finished piece where I'm gonna frame them or anything like that.
Right.
I'm just doing these designs so that I can redo them in
Procreate.
Photoshop.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
Procreate. I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
In Procreate on the iPad, and have them become T-shirt designs.
Right.
So I'm going to do more ink, but the Sharpie's fast, man. Sharpie's fast.
Yeah.
And just trying it out, see how it looked. It's not as rich as the ink, obviously. If I would have inked that all with India ink, it would be just a really nice, rich black, dude.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just enjoying the process and going through it.
See,
And,
right here, I added the.
Oh, I see the shading too, dude. Yeah. So you're pulling the blacks. You're just using the blender to do that on the side of the face.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're near the end of the video, dude. See how fast these things are.
Right.
So, in closing out the video, to the audience, I'd like to say thank you for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video and you want to show some love, the best way to do so is to pick up some merch. Get yourself a t-shirt, a hoodie, or some stickers. A link to the shop will be in the description below. If you would like to reach out to me for a commission, you can do so through Instagram or email. And lastly, feel free to share the video and spread the word about the channel. I greatly appreciate the support in helping the channel grow. And to my guests, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for listening, and we appreciate if you made it to this far. We appreciate your listening and checking out our pages on social media. I go by Ghost Hands. Right now, I think I have a picture of my hand. You can see my tattoos on it. Occasionally, I put out some artwork. I don't have a solid website or anything, but you can always reach out to me in my DMs and pick up a piece. It'd mean a lot to me. I can always ship it out to you. And I've had people put it in the living room, like their bedrooms and all that stuff. Hey, all that stuff means a lot to me. And just know that my artwork, you're buying a little piece of me, And till next time, we'll see.
Fantastic,
what we talk about,
Fantastic. And in closing, to everyone out there in this amazing spiral, take care, enjoy life, and be kind.